So greetings from Pennsylvania once again, and more specifically, we're here in my room this evening. So a little while ago I did that question and answer session, and I asked, what are your questions? And now it's time to answer some of them. So there were 90 replies to that video. So 90, well, not all of them were questions. Some people didn't really ask anything, just kind of made a comment. And there's a few questions that I probably won't answer anyway. But anyway, let's get into some of these questions. I don't think I'm going to do all of them in this video, obviously. Might be a little bit too long. Maybe 20 to 25, who knows, maybe 30 questions. We'll see what happens. Got the coffee. And I'll try to answer these as best as I can. So, alright, first question. How many miles do you drive a year? I did a little bit of math with that. I think roughly 20 to 25,000 miles every year. When I got the Jeep, it had about 52,000 miles on it, and she's up to about 165,000. So I've put over 100,000 miles on her in the past 4.5 years that I've had her. So hopefully that answers that question. So I do put quite a few miles on. That's why I have like a Patreon page and stuff for people to help with the gas money for these videos. From Gabrielle. What town do you live in again? The town that I use for my mailing address and for my mail videos and stuff is Womelsdorf. I don't live in Womelsdorf, but that's the town where my P.O. box is for my mail. I can tell you exactly where I live. All right. I live in Central PA and have been following your channel for a little while, for a little over a year. I've been thinking of getting into hiking as a hobby and exercise. Good idea. Any tips for a beginner? Also, what are some trails you recommend in the area that would be a great start? Any tips for a beginner? I just did a video recently on some hiking and camping advice. So, actually I just posted that just a couple of days ago. So, I will refer you to that video, I think. But just a few things, maybe to repeat from that video. I think first of all, just get out and start, and start slow. You don't start out by trying to do like 10, 15 mile hikes. Just start out with 1 or 2 mile hikes. It's a good way to start. Good footwear, things like that can be important. Also, just maybe try to make sure spill my coffee. Make sure you're picking some easier trails to start out with too. You don't need to start with anything with huge hills and stuff, especially if you're starting and like want to get into it for exercise. I'm assuming you might be a little bit out of shape and stuff. You don't want to overdo it, because it also gives you a bad experience sometimes too if you try to overdo it, and then you don't want to do it anymore, if that makes any sense. Also, take some water and snacks along too, especially if you're beginning. You're gonna burning calories and you're gonna get thirsty and stuff. And also, don't get discouraged either. Don't let people put you down. I think I talked about that in that video I mentioned earlier. If you only go out for hiking for a mile or two, that's what you can do. That's great. Don't let people get you down and discourage you and stuff. Just get out there and do it. Also, what are some trails you recommend in the area? You're from Central PA. Oh, let me get back to you in a moment. Yeah, I can't think of any trail offhand. What I would recommend for you, there are these maps from Purple Lizard from different states. Since you live in Central PA, there's a lot of state forests area. There's tons of hiking up there. They have one for the Pine Creek area. They have one for Rothrock State Forest, Tuscarora State Forest, and they're great maps. And you can see all kinds of trails on here. That's what I would recommend. You go to the website purplelizard.com, and yeah, great idea. Great way to just look up for trails. There's an app called All Trails. I don't use it a whole lot, but sometimes you can find trails in your area too, if that helps. I'm trying to think of one in particular that would be good for a beginner hike. Let me think a little bit more about that. Yeah, one that comes to mind in your state colleges, is it Collier Lake? Maybe I'll put the name here, Colyer, Collier Lake. I think it's about a 2 mile loop around this lake, and it's a flat hike. The problem with Central PA is if you live there, there's tons of mountains, which are great for hiking, but I'm not sure that's great for necessarily a beginner. There's steep up and downs. Unless you want to, I'm not saying you shouldn't try it, but if you're looking for an easier start out, that's a good place. If you live near State College, that'd be a good place. Collier Lake. There you go. There's one I can think of. I've been tons of places, but trying to think of sometimes a specific one. Do you still plan to hike the AT in Maryland? Yes. I know. I think I mentioned that earlier this spring. I said I had plans to do that. I still do. I've kind of been focusing on the horseshoe trail now. I have several. I like to have a long distance trail I'm hiking. Like earlier, I did the Appalachian Trail in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure when I'll start the AT in Maryland. I was hoping to get it started this summer, but it just kind of fell through the cracks, I guess you could say. The one problem with that is that it is further away from me, so I would like to, when I do that section by section, I like to do some camping too, either on the trail or in a nearby park, because I don't want to drive down all the way down there to do one hike and come all the way back home again. I like to do multiple things in one day if I can be further away from home, if that makes sense. So right now, coming in here in winter is not the best of camping time, so we'll see what happens. But I might still make my way down there and maybe do some things on the way home too. We'll see. It's there in my mind, and I do plan on doing it. Just haven't. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things I want to do. All right. There's another question. This is another question from Gabrielle. I think she asked the other question earlier. I was wondering, do you feel you are prepared to face anything or anyone out there? There's some other questions here from her. Feel prepared to face anything or anyone out there? I don't know. Maybe not really, I guess. I don't really think about it too much. I think I've talked about that in other videos. I'm not really worried about the wildlife out here in Pennsylvania. There's really nothing out there that's gonna chase me down and kill me, if that makes any sense. We talk about bears and snakes and things like that. Recently I've been hearing people worried about coyotes and stuff. I've never heard of any coyotes attacking people in Pennsylvania. I'm not really worried about that. The thing I fear more often is people and their dogs. Dogs can be quite vicious on the trail sometimes, to be honest. Thankfully, some of those dogs are on a leash, but they're trying to get me anyway. I had one dog run up to me and put his paws right on my chest, but it turned out to be a really friendly dog. But at first, I didn't know what was going on. But do you feel you are prepared for face anything or anyone out there? In the end, I'm not. In the end, I can't be completely prepared for something like that. So I just don't worry about it, in a sense. If that makes any sense. I don't think you can be completely prepared for anything or anyone that's out there. If you worry about that so much, you're just not going to go out. That's the one problem with that. But I do have things with me to help defend myself if I need to. I do always have pepper spray, and there's usually a knife on me too. She talks about her daughter here. My daughter lives on one of the highest mountains in PA, and what she's talking. Is that another question? Hold on a second here. I think she's not really asking her question there. All right. All right. Kevin, just wondering if you ever felt alright, sorry, I just misread the question. Just wondering if you ever feel like always filming your hikes takes away from some of the solitude and enjoyment of just being out in nature, and if you do ever just go hiking and not filming. That's a good question. Pretty much always when I go out, I film. I don't think it takes away from the solitude and stuff. You got to realize, you might what's a 15 to 20 minute video to you might have been a 4-hour hike for me. So I only filmed 15 minutes of that hike. The rest of the time I am just by myself. I have that solitude and stuff. Or when I'm hiking those sections of the Horseshoe Trail, I have to hike back, from where I came. So I might film on the way, but then I don't do a whole lot of filming on the way back. So I have plenty even though I'm filming all the time, I have plenty of that solitude. I have plenty of time to lose myself, my thoughts, and my thinking to enjoy the nature. So no, I don't feel that I don't feel that filming interferes with any of that at all, to be honest. But it's a good question. But I think, like I said, you have to realize that even though I'm filming, I'm not filming the entire time. There's a lot of, like I said, if I'm hiking for 4 hours, it might only be 20 minutes that I'm filming. But that's a good question. So no. Now that you've been doing this for a few years, do you regularly get recognized not only on the trail but other places you go, like at the grocery store and Sheetz, etc.? Yes, I get recognized everywhere I go. A lot of times on the trail. Recently someone saw my Jeep parked somewhere and went up the trail looking for me too. Quite a few times at the grocery store. It doesn't really, at first it was kind of awkward, it was surprising, but now just kind of happens. So, I mean, I'm kind of a shy, introverted person, so it's still, if you do meet me, I might seem a little awkward, but that's the way it is. But if you do see me, you want to come and talk to me, by all means, feel free to do so. It's just a little weird sometimes, because sometimes people say, "Hey, Cliff," and I'm like, in my mind, I'm trying to like pitch. I don't like know who you are. Then they say, "Oh, I'm a viewer of your channel." Then I'm like, "Oh, okay," and then it clicks. But yeah, sometimes it's kind of, because they say hi to you like they know you, but I'm like but in my mind I'm trying to figure out who they are. All right. This was not a question either, but just someone just commented that they appreciated me getting back. They asked me a question and I responded via email or some other way. I do try to answer your questions, but some do fall through the cracks. I get a lot of messages from people. Anyway, a lot of different things people are asking me for, and all kinds of stuff. So I do try to answer the appropriate questions, I should put it that way. But if I don't, this person appreciated me getting back to them. Just be aware. I think I mentioned in the past, if you ask me a question, I don't answer right away. You can always ask again. There's a lot going on sometimes. Just put it that way. Do you let someone know where you're going and when you're due back? There's a note on the kitchen counter where I always say where I'm going. I don't always say when I'm supposed to be back. Because a lot of times I don't know when I'm going to be back, depending on what I'm doing. But yeah, I always leave a list of the places that I'm going. In case I don't come back, at least gives people an idea of where to look for me. On average, how long does it take you to film and edit a video? Do you do multiple takes or just film once and be done? Oh boy. That's a good question. Let me answer the second part. Do you do multiple takes or just film once and done? I do make mistakes. I tend to stutter sometimes in my videos, and sometimes I'm filming and I really don't know what you just kind of stop, like, what am I trying to say, and I do start over again sometimes. I just delete those clips. So there are times where I have to do multiple takes, depending on what's happening, or depending if you say the wrong words or something like that in a talking scene. So yeah, sometimes I do take multiple takes. Not always, but sometimes. On average, how long does it take you to film and edit? How long to film? That all depends on the hike. I mean, if it's a 4-hour hike, it's 4 hours. Once again, I'm like filming the whole time. And editing it, once again, depends on the video. Obviously, editing a shorter, editing like a 10-minute covered bridge video versus, a half-hour hiking video is very different in how long it takes me to edit. But say it is half an hour video, when you add up all the clips together, it's half hour's worth. I have to get home, I have to review all that footage, so it takes me at least a half hour to review all the footage, and probably more like 45 minutes to do that, because I review it, I write down little notes sometimes for what I want to do with each clip, and then usually every clip needs some sort of editing done to it, just the way it is. Then you have to go through and edit all those clips. Sometimes there's 100 clips in one video that I take. So yeah, that can take a while too. And then you have to use the editing software to render all those clips together and do some other editing and stuff. So it can take, a half-hour video can take 2 hours or more to do. Some people spend a whole lot longer. I don't do a whole ton of editing to my videos. That's why I don't have a lot of music in my videos and other things, because that can really prolong the editing process. And since I put so many videos out, I put a video out almost every day, so anyway, maybe that answers your question, hopefully. Like I said, I know people who film, who spend tons of time just editing one video, but it all depends on what you're doing. I have some friends that put some nice music in their videos, but you got to time that just perfectly with the scene and everything, and that takes so much more work. Because every now and then I make those driving videos where I do have some piano music playing in the background, and that adds to the whole editing process, the time-wise and stuff. So, but yeah, there's days I spend 8 to 10 hours just editing multiple videos in one day. So, all right. This is from Matthew. What kind of camera do you use to film? I use this is Sony AX43. I think I have another one sitting around here. All right, I do not I do have a spare one. It must be on the Jeep. I was filming today, so I keep a spare one with me. But it's a camcorder. It's a Sony AX43. I love it. Works great. Has an internal gimbal, which helps with the stabilization and everything. It's a little more on the expensive side, but there's a reason for that. So, and also I have more. I have all set up with it. I have a handle on top of the external microphone with the whole little mini tripod that sits on. I might do a video on that sometime, showing you exactly what my whole setup looks like. Because I had multiple things I've added to it. It's like a whole rig. So, all right. Oh, this person doesn't have a question. Just talk about how they enjoy the videos. Thank you. That was from Dawn. Why do you always camp alone? Wouldn't it be more fun with a friend? Why do I always camp alone? Thing is, usually in my camping videos, I'm on a road trip a lot of times, and I'm filming all day, and then camp at night and make a video camping. I'm filming all the next day. It's just the way it is. I do that. It's just the way it is. It's my job. I do that by myself. It's not so much that it's like an intentional thing. I'm going to camp alone. I don't like people. It's just the way it is. When you're out, when I'm out doing this, sometimes I'm up way in North Pennsylvania, out Western Pennsylvania. So, and I almost always do those camping on the weekdays instead of weekends. There's not too many people that can just take off of work, on Monday, Tuesday, or whatever, 2 or 3 days, and go on a big road trip with me while I'm filming all day long and camping and filming all day the next day. And so I just kind of, you can't really bring someone along in cases like that. I mean, if I was married or something and the wife came along with, I mean, that'd be different. But even then, I don't know. It's just the way it is, Works out that way. Wouldn't it be more fun with a friend? Yeah, it depends. It depends on who the person is. There's times where when I'm there in the evening camping, it would be fun to have someone to play like a board game with or to talk with around the campfire. We might do some of that in the future. I thought about, there's someone I need to contact. Tony, Random Adventures 2.0. I know I should be contacting him, so we might do a camping trip sometime soon. I know he's been wanting to do that. I have his number there. I just keep forgetting to send him a message, but someone asked me about that too. But yeah, like I said, not everybody can come. Not everybody can, do camping on the weekdays too. Weekends just get really busy. All right, I think I've spent too much time on that question. I think if someone did come with me while I was filming all day, if you ever, on those road trips I take, if I'm out 2 or 3 days, I film like 12 up to 12 or 16 videos on one trip, so I'm pretty busy. I'm not sure that if someone was with me, they'd be having too much fun sometimes. I don't know. It depends who the person was, I guess. It's a lot of running around. Oh, Maxim Outdoors. He asked me a question here. He's from Western PA. He has a YouTube channel. We all watch your videos, so who do you watch? Other than hiking content, do you go down any other wormholes on YouTube? I like that question. I do see. Besides hiking content, I do watch a lot of other hiking channels. But he wants to know what other content do I watch here on the world of YouTube. Let me think about that. I'm trying to think what all do I want to share with you? What else do I watch? I do like to watch travel videos of people. It depends on who it is. There's a guy called Gabriel Traveler. He travels all over the place. I kind of like his content. It's a little bit more raw and unfiltered. He doesn't just take you to like the tourist areas where everything's perfect and wonderful. He'll take you around town, where it may not be quite so nice. He's not trying to show you how dirty the place is. People get mad at him sometimes because he shows you like the raw side of some of these touristy places, but like that's the reality when you go there. Some social media influencers just show you like they kind of sugarcoat it. But he goes to really neat places and sometimes more off the beaten path type places. So I kind of like that. I kind of like his style of filming too. It's not just, I don't know. If I'm saying some travel videos, they try to make it look all, I don't know. And some of those videos, it's more about the person than it is the experience. I like channels. I like videos where someone's going to take me on an adventure. I don't like when it's so much like it's about them. I remember watching a video where some people were like, they were looking down into an active volcano. I won't mention the name of the channel, but for like most of the time they were filming themselves, their face. They're like, oh wow, look at the volcano. I'm like, dude, turn the camera around. I want to see the volcano. They eventually did, but anyway. Yeah, just trying to think what else I've been watching recently. I think there's a channel I mentioned before. They're called Heavy D Sparks. They do all kinds of like recoveries and stuff. They go out and recover abandoned vehicles, and at first I was like, I didn't know if I would. I saw their stuff keep being recommended like on my homepage. When I finally watched one of their videos, it actually wasn't a recovery. They're actually looking for someone's body, like down in a mine shaft. Someone was anyway. Some bad things happened to someone, and anyway, I kind of ended up really liking their stuff. It's kind of entertaining. Yeah, anybody that's going to take me on an adventure and where the video isn't like on the focus of the video isn't like on them. I used to watch some videos on coin collecting. On and off I collect coins. Recently I haven't been watching those kinds of things. Sometimes history stuff. There's, I love my cryptozoology videos about, cryptid animals, mysterious animals. Sometimes those things come on. I'm subscribed to like the History Channel, and they have stuff like that. Or just like fables and mysteries and stuff like that I kind of get into. And it gives you a few ideas of some things I watch. Let's see here, Hans. Is this Hans? Or, I'm not sure what the name is there. If it's okay to ask, what inspired you to become interested in hiking and camping and learning about animals, plants, and insects? When it comes to being interested in those things, I was always interested in animals and plants and insects. Even growing up, I was kind of a nerd growing up. There was one teacher. I was involved in something called Envirothon in junior high and high school, where it's here in Pennsylvania at least, where it's like a competition on environmental subjects and stuff like that. But the one teacher that was involved in that, she kind of inspired me to be more interested in that, because sometimes it is kind of nerdy and you get kind of picked on for being into that kind of stuff. But she was really nice to me, so she was really nice to me at kind of a crucial time in my life in junior high, when sometimes that influence from other people at school can really turn you away from being interested in what you're in, if that makes sense. But I always had interest in that kind of stuff, because my mom was interested in that kind of stuff too. So even though I was little, I was always, I don't know, it was just who I am, to say the least. What inspired you to be interested in hiking and camping? Once again, I think I always liked that. I didn't do as much of it when I was younger, in my college years and so on, because I was just doing other things. But yeah, it was just something I was always interested in. I don't know if that really answers what you're looking for, but I can't think of a moment in my life where I was like inspired to be into that kind of stuff. It was just part of who I am, I think. Part of probably where I grew up too. I grew up out in the country, in the woods. When I was little, I'd be wandering off all in the woods. I don't think my parents knew where I was half the time. And if they did, they probably would have tried to stop me. But anyway, I think I grew up in the woods pretty much. Yeah, I was always building like forts and stuff out in the woods. This is from Alexandria. Thank you for all you do. And where's your most favorite place to hike or camp at? I knew someone was going to ask that. It's almost impossible to ask. I mean, not to ask, but to answer. Where's your most favorite place to hike or camp? Whew. That's difficult. I think I mentioned not too far from where I live here in what's called Stony Valley or St. Anthony's Wilderness up in northern Lebanon County, Dauphin County. That place, that's a special place in my heart. I've often filmed there, like up in the gold mine area and along the rail trail, Boxcar Rocks. Those are places that kind of started it all for me. There's no camping at those places, but that's kind of where I'll just say that's the place. I'll name that place just because it's kind of special to me. Do you keep track of how many miles you hike? And if so, how far? I do not keep an actual, I don't have like a notebook or anything where I keep track of how many miles I've hiked. Yeah. So when I'm out hiking, I kind of do, but I don't really keep a long-term track of that. If that makes sense. I guess I'm not sure if that's what you're asking, but how many miles have I hiked so far? I don't know, thousands, to be honest. So no, maybe I should have, but I know you get those little apps on your phone and different things that keep track of that, but I never did. All right. Well, she doesn't have a question. Okay. It's the phone. What was your first YouTube video about, and how long ago was it? What inspired you to start a YouTube channel? Oh boy, what was the first YouTube video about? How long ago? Summer of 2015 was the first video I ever filmed. Probably June 30th, I think it was. I think that's when YouTube says I started. I think at least that's when I created an account. I had no idea what I was doing back then. I think the very first video was the Bordner cabin. It was like a 3-minute clip. I just anyway, I just walked around the cabin. There was no intro. It was just one single long clip that I filmed. Well, not long. It was only 3 minutes, but because back then I didn't know how to like do the editing to put clips together and actually make a video. I think when I uploaded the video, I didn't even know how to put a title to it or anything. So I think that was one of the first. I think that, yeah, because I know there's some others. I think that one's still up, maybe. A bunch of the other ones I took down just because they were like, ugh. That's the thing, we watch old videos. Anyway. And then I never showed my face in those older ones either. What inspired you to start a YouTube channel? I think I've talked about that before. Because after the whole incident of when I lost my farm and everything, you know, I started hiking. For the first 2 years, I just took pictures and stuff, 2013, 2014. But I was trying to find ways. I was like, I was thinking, how can I earn money? I mean, I teach. I was teaching them, but I was thinking, what's a way that I can earn money by doing what I love doing? I love teaching, but I also love hiking and exploring. And like, how do you earn money by doing that? I thought about selling pictures, but I looked into that, and that was kind of discouraging. But I remember I overheard one of my students that it was that winter, 2014, 2015 winter. I think it was like a 7th, 8th grade class, but one student was talking about how he was making money off of YouTube videos just by uploading, they're into like Minecraft, if you know what Minecraft is. He was uploading Minecraft videos to YouTube. He made like $5 one month. He was super proud of it, like 7th grader stuff, but it just kind of hit me, you know, if a 7th grader can make money on YouTube, you know, why can't I? So that's kind of what got me thinking about it, and so I decided to give it a try, and here we are. When do you think you'll get to the Delaware Canal series you have planned? That's a good question. That's similar to the Maryland AT question. I know I did an intro video to the Delaware Canal this past spring, and I've been meaning to get back to it. I kind of took a break from canal videos for a little bit. I think someone asked me in here, I don't know if I get to this video, but they asked me if I'm going to finish the Union Canal series, and the answer to that is yes. I just kind of took a much needed break from the canal series. So I ended up taking even though I didn't really super get into the Delaware Canal, I just kind of took a break from that too. And there was something else that I was trying to work out with that video series, which I'll talk about in the next video that I film on that, which is in my mind, to get out there to do that. There was just something I had to figure out how I was going to handle the one section. Yeah, they're waiting for that series. So they're waiting for that series to come out again. Yeah, so I do plan on getting back to that again. Like I said, I kind of just did the intro and didn't continue with it. But anyway, I do have plans to do so. I'm always curious about how people get started hiking and spending time outdoors. Did you do this as a kid, or is it something you discovered as an adult? I think I answered that already. It was something that I was interested in as a kid. There wasn't like a single moment in time where boom, you know. So, alright, so that was 25 of the comments so far. Not all of them were questions. I guess we'll just keep going for a little bit more. So I say there's 90 altogether. So maybe get up to 30 at least. We'll see. Anyway, I'm trying to think I don't know how long this video has been already. Do you collect the state park stamps? No, I don't. I wouldn't mind, but I wasn't really aware of them until I had kind of visited a bunch of state parks already, and anyway, so I didn't kind of want to start and have to go back to the ones that, anyway, so that's kind of why. In the future, I do plan to, I am trying to get every state park here in Pennsylvania. I've been to 109 already out of the 124. Once I get to all of them, I do plan on revisiting them. I'd like to do like a more comprehensive video on each state park rather than just making a quick visit sometimes. But anyway, maybe I'll do that then, collect the state park stamps. Cliff, how long are you I think they mean how long do you plan on doing these YouTube videos for? I think that's what they're trying to say. As long as I can, I guess. Yeah, They didn't really work. That's all right. They didn't really work quite right there, but that's okay. Yeah, I mean, as long as I'm able to. I mean, I don't know how long YouTube will be around, or who knows. I mean, I would like to grow beyond YouTube too. It'd be cool to write books and stuff like that. But right now, it works. I'm having fun with it, so I'm just gonna keep doing it. You know, if YouTube's around, I'm 90. I'm gonna be filming yet. So anyway, why not? There's really no reason to stop. This is from Deborah. I appreciate you sharing your faith. Hope you didn't get any criticism. I didn't get criticism from anybody. Oh, let's see. What's her question? Here you go. Do you take? She asked about my mom. Do you take care of your mom, or is she able to take care of herself? Well, you know that I do take care of my mom. My dad, years ago, pretty much abandoned the family, abandoned her, and it's, as you can imagine, it's been difficult for her. I don't want to say too much, but yeah. I mean, it kind of hit her pretty hard. She kind of had a mental breakdown and stuff. But I mean, she's doing okay. She gets around on her own and stuff. I mean, you know, she's getting up there in the years, so it's getting more difficult for her in different ways. But I mean, I am her caretaker. There's not a whole lot of like physical stuff I have to do for her right now at the moment, but there's a lot of other things that I do for her. But yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of how she needs to be with someone, but it's not like an overwhelming task at this moment. And we've talked about it when it gets to the point where she can't like physically like take care of herself, then you know something else will be figured out. We've already talked about that. All right. No, but it was all right to ask that question. There's another question about that. This is from Angela. You have talked about your faith. What is your favorite Bible verse? I forget what the exact passage is, but I'll share that one. Is that in either 1st or 2nd Samuel, where they come out, the one city, I think it's Elijah and his servant are there, and they're worried because some of the enemy, people that have come to capture him, and the servant's worried. He's like, oh, what are we going to do? And Elijah asks God to open up his eyes, and it figuratively, and he does, and that's when this servant of Elijah sees, in a sense, like the army of God also surrounding the city that they're in. You know, the enemy is surrounding the city because they want Elijah, but then his servant sees that there's that God is out there too, like an army of angels is also surrounding the city, protecting them. I kind of like that because I think I've talked about in the past, I do believe in the spiritual world, and I think there's a lot going on out there that we don't see day to day. We just kind of think it's all about us, but there's so much more going on out there that we don't see, if that makes any sense. I kind of like that passage, but let's just keep going. Maybe we'll go up to try to do half of them in this video. We'll see. If it's a longer video, it's a longer video. I'm not gonna do them all in this video. Do you use any hiking apps or other GPS technology to track your distance and/or location while you hike? I do not. I do have a handheld GPS that I use, but I usually use that to find things that I've looked up on Google Maps. I have the GPS coordinates. I use it sometimes too to find my way back. I'll have GPS coordinates where I parked or where I left the trail, but I don't really use it to keep track of how many miles I went or distance and things like that. I think about it sometimes, but I just haven't really got into that. For me, it's not really about. I'm not always focused on how many miles I went. I'm more focused on the adventure. I talk about that in a hiking, camping advice video. For me, it's more about the adventure rather than knowing exactly how many miles I hiked. Although that can be kind of fun to know. But so no, I don't really have any recommendations for what to use for that. And then someone mentions the square root of peanut butter. I think I talked about that. I got that question once from somebody. The clown question. You mentioned that clowns creep you out. Have you ever had a bad clown experience in your past? The clown question. Let me get it. Let me add a little bit more coffee and a cookie before I answer that. Yeah, the clowns. So it was all because of a nightmare. I'm not sure why it came, but when I was really little, I had this nightmare about these clowns. This is gonna sound really weird, but if you're from the area, down in Myerstown, where Route 501 and 422 meet, there used to be a restaurant there called Comessa, which in Pennsylvania Dutch means, I think, come eat. It's not there anymore. There's like a pizza place there now. Oh, by the way, if you know what I'm talking about, say so in the comments. Comessa. I had never eaten there. I never ate there before, but I had a dream about the place. I was on the inside with family, I think, and for some reason I wanted out, but lining the way out were all these clowns. They were laying down on their side, like along the walls, laying down. I don't know why they were laying down on their sides, and they were reaching out like from the walls. I couldn't get out, and there was like spaghetti all over their faces. Why? I don't know, because it was a restaurant, and they wouldn't let me out of the building. They were just reaching out, trying to grab me, and for some reason that's I still you know, of all the things you remember from when you're little or forget when you're little, I remember that dream yet, and that just kind of, yeah. I just always hated clowns. I remember my parents were watching that movie It, the old version. The scenes of that terrified me too, but I think I was already afraid of clowns at that point. So that's where it started. I'm not sure why that dream came, but I hate clowns. All right, yeah. This from Eileen. What was the scariest person you ever encountered while hiking? Have you ever cut a hike short because you sensed danger from a person or a storm or an animal? Cut a short hike. I mean, I've ever cut a hike short. Sometimes due to a storm, yeah. When there's some really nasty storm coming in, I've decided to cut it short. But never from like an animal. There's never a situation where because of animals, I cut a hike short. From people, I'm trying to think. There's been some creepy encounters. I was in Michaud State Forest once, hiking up to Sunset Rocks, and there was a guy at the top just all dressed in black with all these knives and a black dog, and that was kind of, I don't know, he gave off a vibe. I just kind of said hi, I said hey, he said hey, and I just kind of kept going. There was once when I was at Evansburg State Park, which is not too far from Philly. That should start making you think there, but it seemed like these two guys were following me. I even went off trail to kind of get away from them. I kind of ate my lunch along the banks of a stream, but then they were there, like on the other side of the stream, like off trail too, like right across from where I was eating. It was getting weird, so I packed up and started hiking again, and they were back behind me again. I was like, okay, this is really weird. So I kind of trail went around a bend, and I kind of ducked off trail where some like evergreen bushes were growing, so they wouldn't see me, and just to see what they were, you know, whatever. But as soon as they passed me, I could hear them talking, and they were not following me. They were actually looking for something. I heard them talking, and one guy's like, I think it's just up here. If we take this trail up here, we'll find it. So it seemed like they were like stalking me, but they weren't in the end. So, but that was kind of creepy. I can't really think of another situation that really creeped me out though, but yeah. Have you ever looked into hiking the old loggers path? Yeah, I've seen other people hike it. It's kind of on my list, so yeah, it's on my mind, along with quite a few other trails. I guess someone asked about that square root of peanut butter question again. I've been interested in camping out of my. Oh, here's a good. Yeah, I've been interested in camping out of my suburban Forester. This is from Doug. Have you ever used Naomi as a camper and slept in the back? Yeah, Naomi, that's the Jeep. I think a couple people asked why I call her that. I'm not sure if I'll answer that in this video, but yeah, I've thought about that. I'd say it's actually one reason why I bought like the SUV type thing was to potentially camp in the back. I actually, about a week ago, I took everything out of the back and put the back seats down to see if I could actually lay down this way in it, and it's not quite long enough in there. I might be able to make it work if I scooch the front seat up and put something on the floor on the back, you know, between where the back seat gets down. Anyway, if you know what I'm saying, down in there. If I could find something to go in there where I could put a pillow on top of that, there might be enough room in there for me to do that. I'd like to make a video on that sometime. So yeah, I have thought about it. I just got to find a way to make it work. So someone asks, how do I send a package? And of course, someone already answered that question for them. He said, you don't have to wait for the video for that answer. My mailing address is in the description down below. Below every video, there's a description, right? My links for my merch shop, email, all that kind of stuff, and my mailing address is down there too. So yeah, that's how you send a package. What was your most scariest experience while camping out alone? While camping out alone, Scariest experience. Well, I'm trying to think. Many years back in like 2007, there was 2 overnights I did on the Appalachian Trail when I was trying to complete it. I don't know. Yeah, that was a while ago. I didn't take any tent or anything along. I just took a wool blanket along and like a tarp. And the one time at night, I just made like a little A-frame shelter, threw the tarp on it, piled a bunch of leaves in there, had it rolled up in my wool blanket. That night I heard coyotes, like right down from where I was camping. It wasn't really scary. It was kind of cool, but it still kind of sends shivers down your spine. The only other thing I could think of was it wasn't anything scary happened. It was just the dreams I had. That was this year. Where was I when I was dreaming about the monkeys attacking my tent? I forget where that was. Oh, that was this past summer. But yeah, anyway, it was a weird dream. Otherwise, other than that, I haven't really had any like scary experiences while camping alone, to be honest. You haven't taken your class out for a long time. Do you intend to? I'm not sure when I'll upload this video, but we did just recently. My botany class, that was back in 2018. I filmed several videos with my botany class. They're all graduated. Some are married now. I know I did a couple of videos, survival videos. I built snow forts and other like bushcraft forts out in the woods. But recently, actually just today's Monday, just this past Saturday, a bunch of them got together and we went on a hike, had like a little campfire and stuff. So I'm not sure if you've seen that video or not, but yeah. All right, so this is comment number 45. So this is where I'll end part 1. This is from Brooklyn. Just wondering if you plan on doing any more cave adventures. I do plan on. There are more caves I want to explore. I was actually in Wind Cave. Was that this past spring with some friends? I didn't film that one because there's a ton of people along. But I do plan on doing more cave adventures. Sometimes it's about just finding the right person to bring along on those adventures. But yeah. Alright, but I think that'll be it for part 1. I think this video is long enough. I'll probably do part 2 right after this anyway. But yeah, thanks for your questions. Hopefully I was able to answer them. I know sometimes people get mad at me for not answering the way they wanted to. I don't know. Anyway, it is what it is, folks. But anyway, as always, folks, thanks for joining me here this evening in my room. I'm going to get some more coffee, and I'm going to start part 2 in just a little bit here. All right, thanks for watching.